PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Imagine it's been 6 months since you emerged from a coma, having survived a devastating car accident that tragically claimed the lives of your wife and 2 kids. After what feels like an eternity spent in hospital beds and enduring rehab workouts that would challenge even the Hulk, you're finally free to go home. But as you stand at the threshold, the mere thought of hopping into a car sends shivers down your spine. It's as if your brain has transformed into a horror movie marathon, playing nonstop clips of screeching tires, broken glass, and overwhelming chaos. Even hearing the sounds of cars driving along the road feels like someone is holding a grenade over your head, ready to explode at any moment. This is the reality of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's your brain's way of screaming, "Hey, remember that traumatic event? Let's relive it over and over again, just for kicks." PTSD doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It typically arises after a person has experienced a major traumatic event. The trauma can resurface at any moment, triggered by a sight, sound, or even a smell associated with the event. Suddenly, you find yourself sweating, breathless, your heart racing, maybe even fainting. One moment you're minding your own business, and the next you're engulfed in flashbacks and nightmares, feeling as though you're starring in your very own horror flick. Remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. There are people and resources ready to help you on your journey to healing and understanding. Bipolar disorder. If you've ever been on a thrilling roller coaster at an amusement park, you might get a glimpse of what it feels like to have bipolar disorder. But hold on to your hats. This is not the fun kind of ride filled with happy screams and cotton candy. Instead, this roller coaster takes you through wild and unpredictable twists of emotion, like having 2 different people living inside your brain. First, there's the manic phase. Imagine feeling like you just scored a winning lottery ticket while mainlining double shots of espresso. During this phase, you're buzzing with energy, overflowing with ideas, and convinced you can take on the world, or even Mike Tyson in a boxing match. You're happy, hyperactive, and ready to conquer anything in your path. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, the depressive phase comes crashing down like a ton of bricks. It's like someone threw a bucket of ice water over you, and suddenly you find yourself feeling like Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants, grumpy, pessimistic, and convinced that everything is pointless. The emotional shift can happen swiftly and without warning. These extreme mood swings can leave you feeling like your brain is playing a cruel game of ping pong with your emotions. For some individuals, this can also include elements of aggression and violence, making the experience even more challenging. Researchers have shown that bipolar disorder can be linked to several factors, including genetics, brain chemistry, and life experiences. It's a condition that affects around 40 million people worldwide, and importantly, it's not something you can catch like the flu. It's also not something you can just will away or snap out of. Schizophrenia. As a child, you probably had that imaginary friend who always seemed to be there and nobody else could hear, see, or even talk to him except you. However, as you got older, you realized that the imaginary friend was just a trick in your mind, and they were never actually real. Now, for someone with schizophrenia, that imaginary friend is as accurate as a living, breathing person. This means they can see, hear, or talk to that person, even when nobody else can. A person with this disorder also has very vivid delusions and would sometimes make up another reality. For example, they would believe that they are a secret agent on a mission to save the world. It's like being stuck in a game of 2 truths and a lie, but you're not sure which one is the lie anymore. It's like their mind is a radio that's constantly changing stations. One minute you're tuned into reality. The next you pick up signals from a completely different universe. Unfortunately, this mental disorder is the fate of about 1 in every 300 people, and there is no cure for it. Still, early diagnosis, therapy, antipsychotic medications, and self-management techniques can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. Depression disorder. Depression can feel like being trapped in a world stripped of color, where everything appears dull and lifeless. Imagine waking up every day to a relentless stream of bad Mondays, a sense of unyielding heaviness that dulls every moment. It's important to recognize that depression goes far beyond transient feelings of sadness or a rough day. It's an enduring state that affects many aspects of life. When someone is experiencing depression, it feels as if a giant vacuum cleaner has sucked away all the joy and interest from their life. Things that once brought happiness, your favorite pizza, the joy of playing with your dog, or even binge watching your beloved YouTube channel, become distant memories. The interests and activities that once brought joy fade away, leaving behind a hollow sense of apathy. During a depressive episode, it's common for individuals to find themselves in a cycle of disrupted sleeping and eating patterns. You might spend days on end sleeping, unable to muster the energy to engage with the world. Conversely, some may find themselves unable to sleep at all, tossing and turning with restless thoughts. Eating habits can fluctuate wildly, ranging from binge eating everything in sight to forgetting to eat altogether for days. Energy levels often plummet, leaving you feeling as sluggish as a sloth on a lazy Sunday. The gravity of depression is far-reaching. It affects approximately 280 million people worldwide. Despite being a common struggle, many individuals may not realize they are dealing with depression. If you find yourself in a persistent state of sadness, fatigue, or disinterest, it might be helpful to consult a therapist. Mental health professionals can provide support, validate your experiences, and equip you with coping strategies to help navigate the darkness. Anxiety disorder. Imagine anxiety as a stomach-churning, sweat-inducing cocktail of fear and worry, as unpredictable as the weather on a spring day. With an anxiety disorder, it often feels like you're being relentlessly chased by a giant grizzly bear wielding an axe. Your heart races, feeling like it's trying to leap out of your chest, while your palms become sweaty as if you were gripping a water balloon. Your stomach does somersaults like an Olympian gymnast performing an acrobatic routine, tumbling and twisting uncontrollably. A little anxiety in small doses can actually be helpful. It's your body's natural response to danger, alerting you to potential threats and sometimes motivating you to perform at your best. But when that anxiety starts to creep into your everyday life and interfere with daily activities, it may have crossed the line into disorder territory. It's like having your brain spin faster than a hamster on a wheel. You could be enjoying a wonderful day when suddenly an overwhelming sense of terror washes over you for seemingly no reason at all. You find yourself stuck worrying about things that haven't happened yet, replaying past mistakes like a broken record, and second-guessing yourself to the point that even a magic 8-ball would throw in the towel. Anxiety disorder affects approximately 301 million people worldwide, making it a common experience for many. But here's the good news. Anxiety doesn't have to be your forever roommate. With proper support, including cognitive therapy, deep relaxation techniques, and medication when necessary, it's possible to manage those overwhelming feelings and lead a full, vibrant, and happy life. Eating disorders. Imagine an eating disorder as a cruel, mean bully that whispers lies to you, convincing you that there's something fundamentally wrong with your body. But this time, the bully isn't someone on the playground. It's inside your own head. It's like your brain has developed a toxic relationship with food, reminiscent of a turbulent ex that you just can't seem to shake. For some, this manifests as an obsession with being stick thin, regardless of how underweight they may already be. Their mind becomes fixated on restricting food intake, leading them to extreme dieting. Think of subsisting on just one egg a day. On the flip side, others may experience powerful cycles of binge eating, where they inhale massive amounts of food in a single sitting, only to be followed by a crushing wave of guilt. This guilt pushes them to act desperately, forcing themselves to vomit or abusing laxatives, driven by the belief that they must offset their indulgence. It's like having a reckless party buddy who constantly encourages you to let loose, only for you to wake up with regrets the next day. The roots of this toxic relationship with food often run deep, tied to underlying emotional issues such as anxiety, trauma, depression, or low self-esteem. These struggles can lead to serious conditions like anorexia, essentially a hunger strike against oneself, or bulimia, characterized by the binge purge cycle. In the United States alone, over 14 million people suffer from eating disorders, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Picture yourself at a vibrant circus where every single corner is bursting with new and exciting things to see. acrobats flipping through the air, clowns juggling a riot of colorful balls, and tigers leaping through flaming hoops. Your eyes dart from one activity to another, overwhelmed by the sheer spectacle, and trying to keep your focus on just one thing feels nearly impossible. This chaotic environment? It's a mirror to what having ADHD feels like a wild three-ring circus happening in your brain 24/7. In this mental circus, your brain acts like a hyperactive ringmaster, whipping you from one whirlwind thought to the next without giving you a moment to catch your breath. If you have ADH, you often grapple with challenges like paying attention, staying organized, and controlling impulses. Your mental switch seems to be perpetually set to on, making it feel impossible to turn it off no matter how hard you try. Your mind is relentlessly bombarded with an array of exciting possibilities that you desperately want to explore all at once, akin to a kid in a candy store with an unlimited allowance. ADHD affects a staggering number of people. Between 129 million and 366 million children, teenagers, and adults around the globe. There are different types of ADHD. If you have inattentive ADHD, tasks that require focus can feel insurmountable, leading to struggles with concentration and an extremely short attention span, even when you genuinely want to succeed. Then there's hyperactive impulsive ADHD, where maintaining stillness and controlling impulses is a real challenge. Individuals may find it difficult to sit still or stay quiet, often talking at breakneck speeds, like an auctioneer on overdrive. Finally, there's combined ADHD, which is a spirited blend of inattentive and hyperactive impulsive ADHD. Imagine a very energetic, easily distracted child with no volume control, constantly buzzing with ideas and movement yet struggling to focus. Autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Imagine stepping into a lively room full of people where everyone is laughing and enjoying a joke, but for you, it feels like you're lost on another planet. The humor dances around you, just out of reach, and you're left trying to piece together fragments of conversation that seem to swirl in an incomprehensible haze. This snapshot captures the everyday experience of many individuals with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. ASD is a neurological condition that influences how a person communicates, interacts, and perceives the world around them. It's akin to operating on a slightly different system than most people, a unique software that can process information in an unconventional way. For some, this means taking longer to grasp certain concepts or getting fixated on details that others might breeze past without a second thought. If you're on the autism spectrum, social interactions might feel daunting. Making eye contact can be challenging, and understanding jokes may seem like deciphering a foreign language. Yet, it's essential to recognize that autism is not just about challenges. It also brings strengths. Many people on the spectrum possess intense interests or hobbies that they pursue with laser-like focus. They might exhibit incredible creativity or have an astonishing memory for details, like recalling exactly what their second-grade teacher wore on a specific day. Importantly, autism isn't a one-size-fits-all condition. It's a spectrum that encompasses a vast range of traits and characteristics. Some individuals may be nonverbal, while others might express themselves articulately. Some individuals may showcase exceptional skills in areas like math or music, while others may face difficulties in academic or occupational environments. ASD affects approximately 1% of the global population, which means that while many are navigating similar experiences, each journey is distinct and personal. There's currently no medical intervention to reverse autism, but with the right support, ASD can be effectively managed. Behavioral therapy, educational interventions, and medications can help address the anxiety, irritability, and hyperactivity that often accompany the condition, enabling individuals to thrive on their own terms.
Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Next video will be coming soon. Bye!